Hello everybody, Colleen here, and today is my top 5 WTF moments in TV shows and video games. Careful for spoilers if you haven't seen any of these shows or played these games. And starting with my number 5 entry, the only video game on this list, and that is Life is Strange. Now, the reason why this is on my list is because of the ending. You get two choices at the end, and before I get into that, the premise of the game is sort of like a Telltale type game, but it's not by Telltale. And it's 5 episodes long, and you get these different choices, and the choices impact the rest of the game and such. But the ending, it feels, no matter whatever you choose with the ending, it feels kind of unimportant as far as the rest of the game. It's like you did all this effort in saving your best friend, saving other people in the town. It feels all of that means absolutely nothing, because the endings are sacrifice your best friend or sacrifice the entire town. So it's sort of like a, do you want the bad ending or the really bad ending? And it is a WTF moment, because the game was so good up until that final moment. And that's why it's on my list. Now, the number 4 entry is from, surprise surprise, an episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Now, these days, when it comes to characters in TV shows or films or video games or whatever, I don't really get that shocked when something bad happens. And that's because nowadays I look out for clues, and I've come to learn that whenever a character who is not like the main character, whenever an episode focuses on like a recurring character or one of the main characters that you don't really get to see that much of compared to other characters, that's usually not a good thing, because 80% of the time something bad's going to happen to that character. And there's the 20% time where, you know, that something good happens to that character and everything's good and, you know, no need to worry. But back then, when I was a kid and was watching Buffy the Vampire Slayer, I didn't look out for these signs. I was just so excited for the next episode. So when they killed off Tara in season 6 episode titled Seeing Red, I was pretty much seeing red by the end of that episode, because at the start of the episode, when they did the opening credits and I saw Amber Benson's name on the opening credits, I was so excited, because I was like, yay, she's been bumped up to main cast, and that's pretty cool. And then final scene happens and she gets killed off, and I'm like, you know, WTF, they killed off Tara, what the hell? And that's a nice little segue to my number 3 entry actually, which is, I don't know the title of the episode, but it's The 100, Season 3, Episode 7, Nexus Death. Now, again, from what I mentioned before, death scenes don't really shock me as much as they used to, because I look out for things and I expect the worst. Especially when, well, for example, Lexa, I kind of knew that was going to happen, because, well, I kind of read about it accidentally and knew that it was going to happen. But what is the WTF moment here is that it reminded me of the Seeing Red episode of Buffy. Now, there were differences between the two death scenes, but the similarities is why it's a WTF moment. And that is, lesbian recurring character falls for main, well, a main character. I know Willow's not the main character in Buffy, but she is a main character, so that's similar to, like I said. Anyway, so lesbian recurring character falls in love with a main character who's either lesbian herself or bisexual, like Clark is bisexual. Anyway, then they have a happy moment, you know, they either finally get together, or in Buffy, or in Willow and Tara's case, get back together. And then this bloke character who has a vendetta against the main character, in the 100 version obviously is Clark, in Buffy is obviously Buffy, but anyway, so yeah, lesbian recurring character falls in love with main character, then they have a happy moment. A bloke character who has a vendetta against the main character, seeks vengeance and brings a gun, aims the gun at the main character, and a stray bullet hits the lesbian recurring character, and then that character dies. That's what the similarities are, because, like I said, that's what happened in the Seen Red episode of Buffy, and that's exactly what happened in the 100 episode where Lexa gets killed off. The differences are obviously the bloke character in Buffy, Warren, was after Buffy, not Willow, and obviously Titus was trying to frame John Murphy for killing Clark with because he used John Murphy's gun and he accidentally shoots Lexa instead of Clark. But yeah, still similarities there. And when I was watching it, I was thinking, okay, can't they come up with something different? I don't know. But anyway, that's the reason why it's on my list, because it did remind me a lot of that episode. And yeah, I was sad that they killed off Lexa because she was one of my favourite characters, and I will be honest, I was even more sad when they killed off Lincoln 2 episodes later, and I'm slowly going off the 100, but at the same time, it is looking like it's starting to get good again, so I may stick with it, I don't know, but yeah. Anyway, so Nexus Death is number 3 of this list, and now onto a different type of WTF, and that is my number 2 entry for Game of Thrones Season 6 Episode 1. Again, it's the ending of Episode 1. I'm saying Episode 1 and not Episode 2 because on Episode 2, the ending for that, again, I saw it come in from a mile off. There was no shocker there. And the shock at the end of Episode 1 was more of a, I wasn't expecting that, and I was getting ready to go to bed kind of thing, and I did not need to see that before going to bed. And that is when Melisandre, well, basically, here's my thought process with what happened. Melisandre strips naked. I was thinking, oh, okay, this again, you know, she always likes taking her clothes off for whatever reason. And also, I was wondering where the nudity was this episode, because there was no nudity up until this point, which is strange for Game of Thrones. And in the shock moment, she takes off her necklace, and Melisandre turns from a young woman to a 200 plus old granny naked woman, and yeah, that was not a sight I wanted to see just before I went to bed. But props to Game of Thrones, you actually managed to make me think, WTF to that. So that's my number 2 entry. And my number 1 entry, now again, as I said before, I don't get shocked that easily, so when this happened I was anything but calm, which is ironic considering the title of this episode was called The Calm, and yes, of course, I am talking about Arrow Season 3 Episode 1. And it was the Sarah Lance death scene. Now, I know she's been resurrected in Season 4 and now she's in Legends of Tomorrow, and I'm super happy about that because she is my favourite character of the show. Well, she's definitely in my top 5 favourite, and I think she is my number 1 favourite of my top 5 favourites. But yeah, I was super upset when they killed her off, and it was complete shock to me because I read online that Katie Lotz, who plays Sarah Lance, she was going to be in 3 episodes of Season 3, so I was not expecting her to get killed off in the first episode. So yes, I was anything but calm by the end of that episode, and a friend of mine may have got an earful from me when I was venting out my annoyance. But like I said, I'm happy now because she's been brought back to life thanks to the Lazarus Pit, and now she's in Legends of Tomorrow and she's kicking ass and she's brilliant. So yeah, that is my top 5 moments, and I want to know, do you agree with this list? Do you disagree with this list? What is your top 5 WTF moments? What has shocked you more than anything? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all for the next top 5. Bye!